if you want to be good at something, if you want to be great at something, you can't just put in a little time and expect to be good or great. You have to put in hours. I mean, Tiger talks about it all the time. If you want to get better at golf, you've got to hit golf balls. You just have to go out and practice and figure it out. You can't just be a weekend golfer and then get mad because you're not improving. If you don't practice, how can you expect to improve? So you're absolutely right when you talk about, games aren't won on the day of the game. Tournaments aren't won on the day of the tournament. It's won in the preparation that you put in leading up to it.
Yep. So I'm glad you mentioned Tiger there because this is always a conversation we have. Clearly our favorite golfer to watch. That 97 Masters just came out of nowhere, which I wouldn't say came out of nowhere. It's just it wasn't expected, and everybody knew who Tiger Woods was coming up because he's was in it. He All American at Stanford, U.S. Amateur, all that. So I mean, do you think because me and you've had this conversation? Do you think he just needs to focus on the senior tour and just quit worrying about competing anything on the PGA tour? Just focus on your little golf league you did and just play some senior tour events.
I think that uh, I think that he needs to focus first on his health. I think that if he could get as close to 100% healthy as that looks like for him, we don't know obviously what healthy looks like for him because his body's been so beat up over the years. But I think that if he could just get healthy, I think that he could still compete on the PGA Tour. I don't think that he's just not a good enough golfer. I think it just all boils down to whether or not his body's going to allow him to compete. Is he going to be able to walk, all of the holes necessary? And, obviously he would have to be selective of the schedule he plays because not all golf courses are going to be good for him and his body and his age. But I do think that he still could compete. I would like to see him transition from maybe trying to play only on the PGA Tour and maybe playing a little more start playing some events on the senior tour. I mean, there are a lot of guys who they have full-time senior tour status, but they still play in some PGA Tour events. And I think that if he gets his body healthy, should do that, should probably transition into the senior tour. And maybe he can go dominate that similar to the way he dominated the PGA Tour, similar to how Bernhard Langer, he's dominated the senior tour for the last however many years. I think that Tiger could probably do that if he would just let himself do it. I think he just, like we do, we would love to see another 2019 Masters moment where he goes out there and wins the Masters or wins. Heck, it could just be a regular tournament for me, and I would love that, And I think he's capable of it with his ability and his knowledge. I just think that it's just his body. If he could get his body right, just even to 80% of full health, I think that he could definitely compete on the PGA Tour. But with that, I think he could go and have a great second career on the senior tour. I just don't know. I don't know that his pride is going to allow him to do that anytime soon.
Because, like you said, I agree with you. I think he can still compete, and I think Tiger knows he can still compete. Like you just said, the pride. I think he's too prideful to go just to be select events and do the senior PGA Tour. Like I do, how I look at Tiger Woods, I do think he's the greatest golfer to ever step on a course. I mean, I know he didn't catch Jack at 18. I think it's the full package. Tiger, like I don't think there was any golfers dominant during his prime as anybody else. Like his majors, big separation of the next second place is like 100 something shots away from when him playing in majors. I mean, he didn't get the 18, he got the 14. Maybe he could squeak one out, but a big what if to me is what if he wouldn't have had the scandal in his life? Would he have got the 18 sooner? But I mean, golf owes a lot to Tiger Woods because he kind of he gave it a jolt of energy that may have never happened if Tiger Woods would have never came through, because it was just the Nike campaigns, everything. It just brought a different audience. And just, I mean, that's the reason why I started watching golf is Tiger Woods. I think the same thing with you. Reason why you started watching is Tiger Woods. I mean, so do you out of his Masters wins, which we're not even going to talk about in the middle, what's the greatest shot I've ever seen in golf is the one he won in '05, I believe, out on 16, where it's just, I mean, Chris's call is like, you got to be, I mean, just he chipped it up. Masters win, do you think is more important for his legacy? 97 or 2019?
I would say for his legacy, I would say probably 97. I would say for me personally, I think I liked 2019 better just because everyone had written him off, told him he needed to retire. He was never going to win again. You know, he was embarrassing himself. He was ruining his legacy. And so for me personally, I enjoyed 2019's better, but I think 97's was probably more important for his legacy just because of the time it was, you know, in 97, you know, that was during a time where honestly he wasn't even really that welcome there, you know. I mean, people didn't really welcome him there for no other reason than how he looked, you know. And so for him to go out and just not just win it, but just go out and just dominate, you know, he
Dominated
goes
it.
out and he just dominates it, and it's like I'm showing you I more than belong here, you know. So I think for his legacy, 97 was probably bigger for his legacy just because of all that. You know, there were tour players, you know, bashing him. And I remember there was an interview. This wasn't for the Masters, but there was an interview when he kind of burst onto the scene, and he sat down and he talked about what his goal was. And he was like, well, my goal is to win. And the guy interviewing him was like, well, second and third's
You'll
pretty
see.
good. And he was like, yeah, but I want to win, you know? And he's like, I expect to win every time I go. And the guy kind of giggled and said, oh, you'll learn. And Tiger didn't learn. We all learned. We all
PJ
learned
Tour,
that.
yeah, the PJ Tour learned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The PGA Tour learned that, no, he's here to win. And his win percentage, even with all the injuries and how he's played as of late, is still the highest in history, I believe. And if you take away, obviously we can't, but if you take away the injuries, who's to say his win percentage isn't somewhere up there in 30 and 40%? I mean, because it was everyone expected him to win when he came to a tournament and at his peak. It's just how it was. And you know, today Scotty's kind of that way, but if you look at the stats and people try to compare the two, and obviously Scotty's great, but it still doesn't compare to the
It's
dominance that Tiger had, you know?
it's not even close.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
mean, I love Scotty Scheffler. Think he's the best on the planet right now. But if he would be playing golf during the Tiger Woods, Scotty Scheffler would be talked about like a good golfer, but not what he is now. I mean, Phil Mickelson. If there wasn't Tiger Woods, we could be talking about Phil Mickelson having 10 plus majors. I mean, like, but I mean, there's a lot of times Tiger is kind of like the players that played in the Jordan era. They don't have NBA championships because of Jordan. There's a lot of golfers that don't have majors because of Tiger. I mean, but yeah, I
Yep.
agree with you. 97, I think it was the most important major win in his history, maybe golf history, because like you said, he wasn't welcome. Like
No.
he kind of shook golf up for the better. And I think
For the
for
better.
the